InterTalk Radio, you're in to all things music.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on InterTalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. And I am Scott, your friendly host, and a man who is more than ready for this upcoming 3-day weekend. Very excited, very excited. Can just have to get through Friday first, and then we'll be there. And with me in the studio is Intern Chris is hanging out. Paul B is pretending to work somewhere else, and so Intern Chris is hanging out there. What's up, Chris? You so are you officially an intern at InterTalk, or
yeah?
What's your position?
Yeah, I'm still an intern right now, so I'm just helping out, learning how to run the show and everything.
Nice. You learning a lot so far? Paul teaching you some stuff?
Yeah, a lot of this like internet radio stuff is pretty new to me. I'm familiar with the running the board and stuff, but it's the radio part that's new.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a lot of fun. Good to have you on the show. You got any big plans for Memorial Day weekend? You're a bass player. You playing with your band this weekend?
No plans this weekend. I just got back from Vegas last weekend, so I'm going to take it easy.
There you go. How was Vegas?
Oh, it was super, super crazy, super fun.
Nice, man. Nice. I love Vegas. I almost always go there to work. I almost always go there for trade shows and stuff. So I've sort of come to associate the city with work, which is kind of sad, but it's true. I'm always there doing work of some kind. So
yeah, I
don't know. That's probably the wrong association to have for it. Well, good folks. Well, you guys are smart because you're tuned into the big show. You were tuned into a good episode. We're going to have fun. But first, who am I? So I run a public relations and marketing branding firm for companies that want to win in marketing called Robertson Communications. And if you want to reach me, pretty easy to do that. You can send me an email to scott@robertsoncom, 2 M's like communication.com, or you can find me on Twitter at robertsoncom, again 2 M's, or Facebook, facebook.com/robertsoncom, 2 M's. It's probably the best ways to connect with us out there. You can see all of the media clips that we're producing for our clients out there, our work, commentary on what's going on in marketing. Really, that's what this show is about, just to try to, share some of the, experience and knowledge that I've accrued in my, let's say 30 years of pain and misery working in marketing and communications in my life. And I like to share that misery with you, the viewing audience. It's fun. It's fun for me. It's fun for you. So that's why we do it. And this is episode 124 of the program. The other 123, by the way, you can find on iTunes and Google Play, also on my website, robertsoncom.com. So if you want to tune in and see what you've missed, let's say you want to binge it out, man, and you just want to you're like, I need 123 hours of Scott talking to me about PR and bitching about people who are doing it right and wrong. So yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. But this episode, the one you've tuned into, your episode here is I call it friends in low editorial places. And, one of the biggest misconceptions in public relations is that all of us in PR have a bunch of buddies working in the media. We just pick up the phone, and our buddies just give us media coverage through that friendship. So that is BS at the highest level, right? That's never been true. I want to talk a little bit about why did this, where did this nonsense come from? We're going to talk about why it's bad to actually believe it. We're going to talk about PR and our buddies out there in the press and kind of give you the real story about what makes day-to-day public relations really, really work. We're also going to hit who's winning and losing. And, this is going to be this one's up for a Tony. This is going to be a Tony Award nominated program episode of May the Best Brand Win. So you tuned into a good one. How do I know it's going to win the award before the episode airs is a question I get sometimes. It's just a feeling. You work long enough in the industry, and you just feel like what's going to be an award-winning episode. And honestly, they're all at least decent. So all of them have a shot. That's what I say. So let's get into it. Friends in low editorial places. So this week, I was talking to a company that wanted to do business with me, and they were looking for kind of a short-term publicity engagement, really a tough assignment. And it came out in the conversation that they were thinking about doing business with me because they were under the impression that I have a bunch of friends working in the media, and because I have a bunch of friends working in the media, that somehow translates to the fact that I'm going to be able to get them coverage. And so, and I realize there are some, PR people out there that say, yeah, I have friends in the media and you should be working with me. And that's good. That is a load of crap. Okay. As a accredited, those 3 letters after my name, that APR, that stands for accredited in public relations, right? So it's like the top 5% of public relations pros have that. It's like the bar exam for PR pros, right? And as a person at that level in the PR profession, I will tell you that misconception about PR is complete and total and complete bullcrap. Okay. Now, where did it come from? It comes from a fundamental lack of education about public relations, what it really is, what the work really is, what we actually do. And I think PR is a little bit guilty of that, right? Because we don't do a great job sharing what our process is. If you just saw a cartoon, or an animated movie, and you didn't see thousands and thousands of people working on computers, detailing and doing painstaking work on this, you would just assume that, they just plug in, they just type in a few, commands, and then the computer does the rest and it animates a movie. But if you have any knowledge of what animation really is, it is a Herculean effort with thousands and thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of people working on the same thing, at the same time. Video game programming exactly the same way. But if you just saw the output of it, you wouldn't understand what goes into it, right? And I think that's what happens in PR. So I'm gonna drop some education on you about what PR is, and what it really is, that kind of thing. So also there are some kind of bottom feeder PR pros out there that basically say, I've got contacts at, publicists, like in New York and LA, that say, I've got contacts at Ellen and this, and I can get you on there and that kind of thing. Is that misleading? Yes. Should they be doing that? No, absolutely not. Is it also against the Code of Ethics of Public Relations Society of America? Damn skippy it is. Absolutely it is. That is not what we do here. So just so you know. So when people say, I have contacts and I can get you coverage, that isn't necessarily true. So let's dig into the truth of it, right? It's not entirely untrue, right? It's just the wrong question. The right question, so basically, the right question to ask is, how good are you, the PR person, at building relationships with reporters who cover my industry, right? Not just that you have, it's great to have a lot of friends in, I work in the music industry, right? And I have a lot of friends in the music industry. Does that necessarily mean that I can get a story for them? Probably not. Honest to goodness, probably not. So, that alone is not what's going to do it. What's going to do it is the skill, right? The painstaking work kind of behind the scenes, right? The right question, again, is how good are you at building relationships with reporters who could possibly cover my industry, right? A reporter, even if they're a friend of yours, they have a job to do. Imagine you've got a job. Let's say you work, at a bank, and it's like, and I've got terrible credit, but I'm your friend. We went out drinking the other night or whatever. If I come in and I have bad credit and I say, oh, but you're my friend, you should give me a loan. And the friend goes, yeah, but I got rules. It's a job, dumbass. So, just even saying that kind of stuff out loud is dumb and bad, So don't do that. Don't believe that about PR. That is not true. Again, the right question is, how can we develop relationships with journalists in this category that are going to help our company? Really, really important to know the difference between those two questions. Now, when you say that, you can get when a public relations person says, I've got contacts and I can get a story and that kind of thing based on my friendship, it belittles the way we work. Again, it's like showing people, Moana and saying, oh yeah, we just typed in, we're good at animation. So here's Moana. And people will be like, oh, that must've been pretty easy for them. Instead of saying, hey, do you see this army of 10,000 people? One person was just doing leaves on the palm tree, right? And these other thousands of people were doing the waves of the ocean. And these other people were doing the voices. And these other people were doing this. I mean, it is a giant army of people it takes to make those things, right? And the end product is magnificent. It's incredible these days to see those animated movies. But it certainly doesn't get done. It takes a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of people working kind of focused in the same area. So when people say that, oh, you've got friends in the media, you can get me stories, it belittles our process. And I don't like that because our process, defines the profession, as what it is, right? It makes it seem like our work is much easier than it is. I always like the meme that goes around that says, PR is just like riding a bike, except the bike is on fire, the road is on fire, and you are on fire. It's just making order, out of pure chaos, and it's so let's just go into that for a second. So a real PR effort, or let's just say this prospect, we didn't end up working together because they have really, kind of high expectations and not a really good story and very difficult window to try to execute things in. Public relations is very hard to do. It's very hard to do. And people that say, oh, no, it's very, very easy. It's very easy. It's like, then they don't know what the hell they're talking about because it takes a lot of research. So let's just talk about it real quick. So, when you want to get, something done, let's say national media, we develop files and research on the reporters that we're going to cover. And we do it in a very, very deep way. Myself, if I'm going to pitch a reporter at an outlet, you can be assured that I've read, 15, 20, 30, 40 articles that they've written over the past year before I even pitch them, right? And they're like, well, Scott, that takes a lot of time. Bingo. Now you're starting to understand why PR takes time. It takes time to study the target, quite honestly. Make sure they're the right fit. Make sure that, by the time I pitch somebody, I know more about them than they do, So pitching them becomes very, very easy because I already know so much about them that it's just, it just comes out, right? You're like, you see patterns when you, and I realize that most people don't read the news media this way, but PR people do. When you look at something the same reporter has covered over and over again, and you look at like 30 or 40 of their stories, you start to see patterns. What does this reporter like to cover? You can see it, right? With a little bit of training, you can start to feel what it is that they're looking for, what they come back to, what kind of stories they favor, and that kind of stuff. And if you know how to do PR in that way, it's a tremendously unfair advantage, right? The era of social media makes it much, much easier because almost everything is published online. Almost everything, reporters tweet their own articles and things, so you can almost see what they're working on and what they're looking at, just through their Twitter feed, right? And Twitter's free, right? So it's free, and there's nothing that would stop people from doing it. So we develop these very deep research files about reporters so that we know that. And then we develop the perfect pitch for them. I like to pitch individually. I don't tend to send out the same thing to a lot of reporters unless it's a press release and, a press release with an image, new products coming out, and then everybody sort of needs to get the information at the same time. But if you're pitching, something specific for them, then, make it specific for them. Show them why it's perfect for, the Huffington Post. Show them why it's perfect for AARP, the magazine. Show them why it's perfect for exactly that outlet. And I don't think that gets done. in the modern PR organization. It is a bit of a spray and pray kind of situation where we just pull these lists out of databases like Cision and those kind of things. And sometimes their data is not up to date, and just, send out 1,000 things and hope that we get one, right? Now, isn't that what's wrong with all of marketing? The fact that we're just so lazy that we just are like, well, to get one, I'm going to have to send out 1,000. It's like, what if you sent one to get one? Because that's how I do PR. I send one to get one, 1 to 1, right? A lot of my philosophies of marketing, come home to roost in PR. You see it. You see them, play out the exact same way. And I think it's just more respectful. It has more empathy for the journalist. Like, a buddy of mine is, Jeff Graham from USA Today. He posts pitches that he gets, and the PR people. I mean, this is Jeff Graham who covers technology for USA Today, right, and has for decades. And people don't get his first name right when they're pitching him. They send stuff to Jessica and Jerome and John and everything else, and it's like the dude's name is Jeff. And by the way, it says that on his byline for the last few decades. So if you don't know that, then you have no business pitching that man. And he gets these, and he posts these on his Facebook profile all the time, and he just kind of shakes his head and he's like, why would you pitch me something, get my name wrong, and get what I'm doing wrong? So just kind of in closing about this, it's helpful to think of it like this. We don't have friends in the media and then they write stories for us. Because we make their job incredibly easy and we know them so well and we pitch them so well, they are our friends, right? It goes the other way. The reason that I have friends in the media is because I make their job easier. I'm like a massively overpaid editorial assistant. I get them images, I get them quotes, I get them things they could never get on their own. I get them interviews with the celebrities. I get them access to things that would be difficult to pull off on their own, and certainly difficult to pull off in this era of, journalists. We've lost 2/3 of the working journalists in this country, in the past 20 years, right? So they don't have people going out and look for that stuff. That's us. That's supposed to be us. And that builds friendship. So it's not about having buddies. It's about making buddies by doing great work. I'm Scott. May the best brand win on InterTalk Media. Come on back. We're going to talk about who's winning and losing this week, folks. Thanks.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on InterTalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on InterTalkRadio.com.
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. You are tuned to May the Best Brand Win on InterTalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host. We're hanging out, talking about friends in low places. We've got Chris, the intern, with us. Chris, you got some friends in low places out there?
Yeah, I got a few.
It's a great song, by the way. Do you know the Garth Brooks song, I Got Friends in Low Places?
Yeah, I've heard it.
A classic. A classic.
Mm-hmm.
So true. So true of marketing people. We tend to have those relationships with people that, you know, you wouldn't necessarily admit to having a relationship with them. That's what I say, at least. Well, let's dig through the winning and losing this week, shall we, folks? This should be fun. So, man, so much to choose from. Let's start off with a real winner here. So, Chobani Yogurt paid off the lunch debt for students at a school district in Rhode Island. All right. So, Chobani announced that it's donated funds to cover $77,000 in unpaid school lunch debt for students in Rhode Island. Right. And they said the last thing the kids should worry about today is if there's a warm lunch for them at school. And shame they might feel their classmates realize they can't afford a school lunch. Chobani noted in a press release, added that they're working to bring attention to the national crisis of food insecurity among students. They also pledged to donate yogurt. There you go. Their business is yogurt, so you can see it to the surrounding community. There you go. So kind of interesting. So winning, all kinds of winning. You know, why is it great, right? Because it's real. I mean, even if they did a press release on it, that's fine. You know, I mean, obviously you can tell that Chobani, you know, cares about this issue, right? So in a community that they care about, local community, they are donating money, and then they say, hey, we make yogurt. We're going to donate yogurt as well, and money and that kind of thing. And I say kudos for that whole thing, because that's a great way to tie it into a message that you're trying to promote. It's a great way to stand for something. And it's a great way to, and it's an issue that really not a lot of other food companies have exactly jumped on board. So, you know, for all those reasons, I'm going to say winning, and I say good job to Chobani, and I say that that's a good one this week. Losing this week is Bill Nye, the science guy. Bill Nye apparently did a kind of a funny little skit on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, where he kind of used profanity and kind of half made fun of and jest about the fact that the earth is, you know, going to catch on fire and this kind of thing. And he basically, you know, did this elaborate kind of sketch about, you know, I'm Bill Nye the Science Guy, and I say that the earth is going to catch fire and explode and everybody's going to die, sort of thing. So the problem that I have kind of with it is the fact that, you know, it's not true. I mean, the problem is that if you're a scientist and you're out there saying the world is on fire and this kind of thing, it's like, you know, you would think that a scientist or even somebody that plays one on TV would have their facts straight, right? And I wrote about this, you know, my personal feeling on climate change is I don't think the data supports the hype. I think that the data says that, yeah, you know, the temperature of the planet Earth has risen 1.9 degrees overall since 1880. Okay? So if you're sitting there saying the planet's going to catch on fire, I'm sitting there saying it's a rounding error. It's a rounding error on your thermostat. That, you know, so we're in different places. If you're a scientist and say the Earth's going to catch on fire, then you better damn well be able to show a temperature that's rising up to a point of combustion, you know, which you cannot, because there's no data to support that. So it's bullcrap, is another good way to say it. And I sort of believe that the entire issue of climate change is sort of wrapped in bullcrap. I don't think that the data supports it. I think every time I continue to see it, they say, 97% of scientists agree that the Earth is getting warmer by 1.9 degrees. I'm sorry, but call me when you have something that matters. I mean, 1.9 degrees is nothing, absolutely nothing. And there's plenty of scientists. There's like 30 or 40,000 of them that basically said, "Hey, we're going to be the one dentist that doesn't recommend Trident to patients who chew gum, and we're going to say that the Earth is cooling, and we're going to say that human beings, we've created some problems on this planet, but the planet's been here for a hell of a long time, right? The planet's been here for 4.4 billion years. Human beings have been here for, let's say a few thousand." Okay, a few thousand out of 4.4 billion is, again, another rounding error. Our species is a rounding error to this planet, right? We are not. We have not been enough to affect anything regarding this planet. Long term, when you consider a 4.4 billion year history, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. So it's like, so I think there's all kinds of bad from marketing in this. First of all, you have, I know it's last week tonight and he's just kind of having fun, but that's a real credibility destroyer, in my opinion, when you sit there and you say that. The science does not back this, okay? And then yet there's companies that, like there was another story this week that said Amazon's employees stand up to Amazon about climate change. If you're Amazon, don't you want to say, I'm sorry, we have much bigger things to be worrying about than a 1.9 degree change in temperature. Idiots. Get back to work. I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. People I know that I mentioned it on social media and it like erupted because people are like so driven and think the Earth is going to be destroyed. It's not going to be destroyed because of this. Again, I got that. I guarantee you that. AI is a real way that you could destroy this planet. Believe me. And that's coming. Because there are idiots all over the world creating AI right now that they will not be able to control. Oh, crap, we weren't able to control it. Oh, sorry. Oh, damn, the robot dogs got loose and they murdered thousands and thousands of people. Really? Really? I mean, you want to be concerned about something, be concerned about AI. AI is going to be a much bigger problem coming down the road than anybody thinks. Guaranteed. So I put Bill Nye in losing, and I put climate change in losing too. I think that's just a bunch of ways to raise money for stuff that's never going to come to fruition. Can we talk about GDPR, the privacy initiative from the UK? So I saw a story this week on Digiday, and it says 1 year into GDPR, the ad industry braces for more fines. Right. And this is a great way to look at the ad industry. You want to see what's wrong with the marketing profession? The ad industry is a great way to see what's wrong. Instead of saying, wow, this is bad. We shouldn't be spying on people. We shouldn't be taking people's data. We shouldn't be doing this, right? The should word, the should word that's so important, adult judgment and all that. Instead of using that, what they say is, oh man, well, people are just getting a slap on the wrist. So, what's the point of doing that if it's going to reduce my revenue? I mean, listen to yourself, right? The people, created enough of a stink about tech companies using their data in improper ways that they created legislation to fight it. And the ad industry's response is, oh, let's just get ready for some more fines. Let's get ready for some more fines. I mean, talk about not listening. Talk about, or not even not listening, but just not even giving any sort of a crap about people and that sort of thing. I find it very, very disappointing. I think that the coming wave of privacy, should be a message to marketing that, you have used, as we talked about last week quite a bit on the show, that the message to marketing should be, you've gone too far, you need to dial it back and this kind of thing. And now they're just saying, and now a lot of these companies are saying, well, we'll just be fined. That's fine. We'll make more money if we just take the fine. So disappointing. So disappointing. So, I mean, I guess it's not going to be real to them until people start abandoning their platforms in droves, which is also coming, by the way. But, it may just take them getting the message a couple more times. I'm going to put that all in losing for us right now. I think that's a terrible response to GDPR, a terrible response in general. Should we talk about influencer marketing for a while? And so influencer marketing is a bit on the there was a story that came out in social media today, this week, that says influencer marketing, it posted some rates that influencers are sort of worth. There's a report that came out posted by Clear, Klear, Clear. They posted an entire report about what, based on a survey of influencer, what their rates are going to be. And they divide it, if you're a celebrity, you have over 500,000 plus followers. For a post, an Instagram post, you should be making $2,000. For a video post, you should be making $3,000. For a story, $721. For a video, on YouTube, $3,800. For a Facebook post, $2,400. And then it goes down from there, right? So it's sort of starting to set a benchmark of you got your nano influencers, 500 people to 500 or to 5K followers. Your micro, 5,000 to 30,000 followers. Your power influencers, who have 30,000 to 500K followers. And basically saying that each post is worth, $500 in the case of a power influencer. A micro influencer, it's $172, and a nano influencer, it's about $100. So it's kind of fascinating to see this, right? To see this kind of laid out based on a survey of 2,500 influencer rates. You're starting to see a bit of a standardization of rates going on. So then you, as a, media buyer of sorts, as a marketer, would be able to say, okay, well, we, should be paying this influencer on this scale, that kind of thing. Kind of interesting. But then you have these massive, influencers who get paid, $10.5 million per post and crap like that you hear, which is kind of interesting. Also, while we're talking about influencers, Kellogg's, there's a story that came out in Digiday about Kellogg's this week that really it's using influencers as more like brand ambassadors. So rather than pick people kind of based on reach and the kind of negotiating contracts in this, Kellogg's, the big cereal company, they are looking for influencers who are genuine fans of the brands and open to longer-term relationships, right? And they talk about their relationship with British endurance athlete and blogger Sophie Radcliffe and what she did with the Manchester Run race and this kind of thing and relationship that she had with Special K cereal and that sort of thing. It's kind of a fascinating story. I encourage you to check it out. You're starting to see people. To me, the trick again with influencer marketing here, and I'll definitely put influencer marketing in winning because they're kind of solidifying what's going on around their pricing structure. But to me, where it falls down is if you are working with somebody because they have influence, and if their community suddenly doesn't trust them because it looks like their opinions are bought and paid for by Special K, then what have you purchased? What are you purchasing if it gets out that you're paying them for their opinion, right? That's my whole problem with influencer marketing is it only works if the audience doesn't really know what you're doing. Because the minute they know that you're saying Special K, I mean, it's a weird slope, right? I mean, maybe this athlete loved Special K before and then goes in and says, hey, and now Special K is paying me and it's a big, great love fest and the audience is still hanging in there. But at some point, the audience is going to start to say, wait a minute. Now, does she really love Special K or is she saying that because she's getting paid, right? So I think that's something to always keep in mind when you're talking about influencers. An interesting story here. There's a blood test that came out that can predict dementia, right? And there's no cure for dementia. So this is a fascinating one. So would you take the blood test, the predictive blood test, which it's certainly newsworthy that the fact that there's a blood test for predicting if you're going to, basically lose it mentally. If you knew that, would you live your life differently? what choices does it change, right? And I think it's a really interesting one, right? Would you take the blood test, and if it comes back positive, what do you do about that? Because there's no cure. I mean, obviously you get your affairs in order probably better than you would. You probably kind of know that. To me, it's almost like one of these things like, if you knew the exact day you were going to die, that might not be great either, because that information would change every single day leading up to the day you die. And you might even die sooner, that kind of thing. So I don't know if we're meant to know stuff like that. So I'm going to put that in losing, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Interesting story. The Senate finally doing something. Congress doesn't do much to help us, but they finally did something to help us. They have approved a bill that's going to crack down on those unwanted robocalls. A bill to crack down on unwanted robocalls sailed through the Senate, adding a push to defeat the growing problem of phone scams and nuisance calls. Legislation will impose stiffer fines, as much as $10,000 per call on robocallers who knowingly flout the rules on calls, and would increase a statute of limitations to up to 3 years, which right now is 1 year. So basically, they can go after people for 3 years. It gives the FCC the power to develop further regulations that would shield consumers from unwanted calls. Now, they say it won't eliminate robocalling, but it's certainly going to put a dent in it, which everybody can welcome. Hey, I'm just excited to see Congress do something positive for us, right? And of course, marketers are behind robocalls, right? They make a conscious decision to robocall you and that kind of thing, because they probably get like a 0.00001% return on that investment, right? And whoever that 1% is that's giving them the 1% return, that we all need to line up outside their house and just give them an atomic wedgie, because they're the problem, right? If there was no reinforcement of that behavior whatsoever, then it would stop. But there's some idiot in our society somewhere that is getting a robocall and buying whatever it is that they're selling, or taking part in their scam or whatever. And it's that person that is the problem, I have to say. So I don't know who that person is. I don't know who that person, continues to be. But without that person, there's no more robocalls, right? So anyway, but I think it's, like I said, I think this one's definitely winning. And I think it sends a strong message to organizations that robocalls, there's going to be a lot of fines coming for you, and the government's going to do its very best to try to shut your whole operation down. And so they're losing. And that's who's winning and losing this week, folks. Come on back in segment 3. I'm going to give you some tips to do better PR with or without your buddy relationships. Come on back.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on InterTalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording number one hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
May the best brand win with Scott Robertson's Music Biz Marketing Strategies. Now, here's your host, Scott Robertson.
Hey, everybody. It is Friday. You are smart because you are tuned into May the Best Brand Win here on InterTalk Media, the undisputed leader in music biz talk. I am Scott, your host. We just talked through some winning and losing stuff. We got intern Chris learning the ropes there from Paul, who may or may not be asleep. What's going on, Chris? How's it going?
We're good. Paul's just taking a nap back here.
Nice. Little siesta. Get a hammock going. I could see it. Get to jump on that Memorial Day weekend. I like it. So what'd you guys like from winning and losing this week? What stuck out at you as the best winner and or loser?
Probably Bill Nye.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't get it.
What are you doing, Bill? What are you doing? Agreed, man. It's just goofy. It's just goofy, man. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Must be hard to get work if you're Bill Nye the Science Guy these days. But it's like they're going to update his Wikipedia page, and it's going to be like he did all this good work for years, and then he's known for doing this stupid video that on Last Week Tonight that like destroyed his entire credibility.
Yeah,
terrible. Nice. Is that Paul's vote too? What's Paul's vote? Wake him up. What's going on?
Yeah. He said that's his vote too.
Nice. He's voting for Bill Nye as well. I could see it. I could definitely see it. Well, cool. Well, let's dig into segment 3 here, folks. So this whole episode we've been talking about PR, and this is an episode called "Friends in Low Editorial Places," and we're talking about sort of that mythology that having buddies in the media is going to be the way that you're going to get positive stories written about a company from a public relations standpoint. And that's just not true at all. It's just not true at all. So I'm going to give you some tips for how to do better PR the right way, hopefully, and hopefully that will help you create some great relationships along the way. Your goal in PR should not be sending your news to your buddies. It should be making buddies by having great stories for them and helping them do their job. Do you see how that twist kind of works and how that works? And if you do PR for an organization, don't ever let the organization think that that the reason that it works is because you just have a bunch of friends. That completely belittles our profession and our work. And it's not true at all. None of that touches reality for me, at least. And I don't think it touches reality for most people. So anyway, here's my first tip is be researching. Make sure that you are doing your research. We talked about that process. A lot of that process, the clients don't see, the companies that nobody sees. It's really behind the scenes. If you're going to be good at PR, you have to be kind of good at being like a stalker level researcher, right? I mean, if you really want a story in a news outlet, then resist the urge to send out 1,000 pitches to 1,000 journalists and just work on the one. Take the time that you would spend creating the pitch for 1,000 people and following up with 1,000 people or whatever, and just focus on the one. If you really want the Wall Street Journal and a particular reporter at the Wall Street Journal, then get into their business, right? Read everything that they've written, right? Check out their blog, check out their social media pages, stalk them at a very massively creepy level. I mean, if it's out there and you can find it, read it, know it. and then start to develop your own notes. Start to, like a detective, is stalking a murderer, right? And no stone left unturned. Talk to people who know them. Talk to, dig into your research. Definitely don't be the person that's sending out pitches with the wrong first name. I mean, the first name is the first thing you should know. If you don't know it, you shouldn't be pitching. You really shouldn't be pitching, because this is a person on the other end of this line that has a very busy world. And if you want to earn a place in it, then you better damn well, work for it. Work for it. That's our work. That's our work right there, is the research, the knowing the publication, the understanding, and also, there are things like, help a reporter out, which is a feed of all the things that journalists are looking for. I like to check those things on a regular basis because, if you do that, you will be able to see that reporters are looking for stuff. I got my reporter into a Washington Post story that's coming out that was all about, the karaoke industry and its significance in our culture. And I represent a karaoke manufacturer. And I said, hey, my client is perfect for this story. It has 30 years, or more years of, understanding the industry and that kind of thing. And then we opportunistically, they were looking for experts. We have an expert. Boom. That's a match made in heaven, right? So it's like, that is how that sort of thing kind of happens, is you're kind of opportunistically finding, stories that work for your client. But it all begins with research. If I wasn't watching that feed and I didn't see that, then I wouldn't have been able to create that opportunity for my client. And it's going to be great. They're going to get quoted in the story, and they're going to, first of all, they're going to help that reporter, which is great. They're going to help themselves, and they're going to be mentioned in a really strong way that they can amplify, in their own social media feeds. There's a lot of things that you can do for that, right? So, but it all begins and ends, and none of it happens if the research isn't there. If I'm not there looking at that feed, if I'm not looking at the bulletin boards and seeing what reporters are looking for out there, then I don't know that, right? I don't know that, and then I'm not able to get my client involved in that. So being good at PR is being really nosy, being really stalker-like, and being all over things, for their benefit. Like I said, we don't stalk people so that we can do anything that's not for their benefit. We're trying to make sure it's for their reporter's benefit. Because at the end of the day, what are we looking for? We're looking for a relationship with that reporter. And how do you get a relationship with them? Be useful. Be useful. And then if you're not useful, be gone. Be away. Disappear. Don't be around when you don't have something for them. Because they're busy. They're busy people. They have jobs. They don't have time to sort through all of your pitches in the hopes that one of them might, connect. That's another reason that journalists like working with me, is that if I don't have something for you, I'm gone. You don't hear from me, and then the minute that I have something for you, now you hear from me. So you can be assured that when you see something from me, you can be damn well assured that, it's going to be right for you. Otherwise I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be there wasting your time, and I wouldn't be wasting mine. It's important to know that. I think so. Tip number 2, be crafty. Craft that perfect pitch, right? The perfect pitch for this journalist, is, and like I said, I don't necessarily mean press releases and those kind of things, although the same model can be applied. But I'm talking about your, let's say you're trying to get a feature in the Wall Street Journal on a company. How do you craft that? How do you make sure you're speaking to exactly what they want? And clients ask me to say, how do I get a feature in the Wall Street Journal? It's like, well, does your business significantly impact the stock market? And people say, oh, well, I don't know. What do you think the Wall Street Journal covers primarily? That's right. Wait for it. The answers will come to you. It covers the stock market. Okay, the Wall Street Journal is all about Wall Street. It's written right there in the headline of the newspaper. So if you want a story in the Wall Street Journal, then you better damn well impact what? Wall Street. There we go. Just shout them out if you know. So, very, very, very important. So, but people don't know that. Clients don't know that. Sometimes I had one client when I worked for an agency once, they said, I want to be on the cover of Time Magazine. And I said, wow, the cover of Time Magazine. And this is a company that made business to business focused software in sort of kind of file storage, like file storage, business to business software. And their customers were like high end, CTO kind of people, chief technology officer, those kind of people. And I said, okay. I go, so you want to be on the cover of Time Magazine? I said, so why do you want to be there? Well, I think it would be great visibility and brand equity for our company. It's a great marketing answer. It is complete crap. It has nothing to do with the business at all, right? Which is what I told him nicely at that time because he's my client. I go, let's take a look at Time Magazine. Let's look at the last 4 covers. The last 4 covers included the president of a country, the president of our country at that time, who was Bill Clinton. It had Jesus Christ was on the cover, and then it had a celebrity, a Hollywood celebrity, that was on the cover for I don't know. I'm not even sure. I don't even remember exactly what the Hollywood celebrity was. So then I said, are you the president of a foreign country? No. Are you the president of this country? No. Are you the savior of all mankind? From Christianity. You're not that either, are you? You're not that. Are you, a Hollywood celebrity? No, you're none of those things. And then I said, let's go. So the chances of getting on the cover, it's not going to happen. It's not ever going to happen, just so we're clear. And then I said, and I'll go you one better. You don't want it to happen. Why? Because what if I told you that the readers of Time Magazine are women primarily in their mid to late 40s? I said, is our customer a woman mid to late 40s that wants to read about Jesus Christ? No. Just so we're clear. No, that's not our customer. So our perfect pitch is not the cover of Time Magazine, right? PR is not just doing stuff to feed your stupid ego. It is all about driving a business relationship and a business objective in that case. And the business objective is not even served by that. So anyway, you got to educate your clients sometimes on some of the things that they want are really stupid and won't help the business at all, even if you could get them. And of course, like I said, if you're not Christ, you're probably not going to be on the cover of Time Magazine. Tip number 3, be incredibly responsive to editorial needs. This is how you do great PR. The reason that I have friends in the press is because I am responsive to what they need. They've got a deadline that's 3:00 on Friday. Then we're damn sure going to make sure that we hit the deadline of 3:00 on Friday. Summer NAMM is coming up next week, and their stated deadline to be in the show daily is Wednesday at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, May 29th at 5 p.m. So when would you say you need to have your materials to them in order to have your best chance of getting coverage? Before 5 p.m. of May 29th, right? Like I said, this stuff is easy, and yet it's incredibly hard. And then people say, well, I never got in the show daily, and that didn't work out. It's because you sent your crap in mid-June, and they couldn't get you in because they would try to get you in, but why can't they get you in? The reason they can't get you in is because they gave you a deadline, and you missed it. Don't miss it. Be incredibly responsive to editorial needs all the time. When they give you those deadlines, that's not made up. That's real. Make sure that you're hitting them. It's really, really important. Number 4, be opportunistic and proactive. I just told you about the karaoke story and the whole Washington Post thing, right? That happens when you are opportunistic, when you are looking for opportunities for your clients that might kind of go outside, and reporters will tell you what they're working on these days, right? Haro is fantastic. Help a Reporter Out that Peter Shankman started. It's owned by Cision now, but it's still run in mostly the same way, which is reporters get in and say, I need an expert on Alzheimer's disease. I need an expert on karaoke. I need an expert on guitar pickups. I need these kind of things. And if you happen to have that, or you happen to be that, then you can jump in and try to earn your way into the story, which is the essence of PR in general. We earn our way into the story through hard work, sweat, luck. I don't know. There you go. All that stuff added together. But it has nothing to do with, do I have a buddy or not? None of that stuff ever comes into play. It has to do with, I'm good at my job. I know what my job is, and I know how to get my clients inserted into a lot of these opportunities because I'm really, really proactive. And when a reporter bounces back to you and says, absolutely, I want you for the story, then you execute very quickly on their behalf. You get, if they send you a couple questions via email, you pull your client out of whatever meeting they're in, and you get this damn things answered, and you get it back to the reporter. Why? It's respectful to do that. It is how you honor the reporter's job. And if you do it for them in a powerfully proactive way, then they love you for it. And now you've got a buddy in the press. Yay! Yes, we've got buddies in the press. It's very exciting. So now we can get more coverage, right? No, because we get more coverage by doing the same thing over and over again. We stalk people and that sort of thing. So be opportunistic. Be proactive. You're never going to go wrong that way. And number 5, to do better PR with or without relationships, be thick-skinned. This is not a profession for the timid. It really, really is not it's not for people that are like, oh, a reporter somebody didn't get back to me and now I'm rejected and I need a therapy puppy. It's like, yeah, you know what? It's a hard, cruel, nasty ass world out there. And if you want to win your clients to get in there, you better be thick-skinned about it. If reporters get back to me and say, hey, this isn't appropriate for me at all. Okay, great. Thanks for your time. We'll try again. We'll give it a shot again. It's not personal, that kind of thing. Don't get reporters' names wrong and all that kind of stuff. But be thick-skinned about this stuff. Again, this is not for the timid. And it's a miracle that it ever works, I got to say. So what have we learned, class? We've learned that it's not just who you know, but how you approach the assignment that really governs whether you're going to be successful in public relations. It is extremely powerful. It takes the right combination of hard work, massive amounts of responsiveness, and honestly, a little bit of luck to get it right. But when we do get it right, it builds trust and it moves the needle like nothing else on this planet. And that's it for me, folks. Until next time, this has been Scott Robertson, host of your show, May the Best Brand Win, only on InterTalk Radio. Have a fantastic Memorial Day weekend, and I'm going to take off Monday. You know what I'm saying? Have a good one. Rock and roll. Later. Bye-bye.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on InterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?